Hello everyone! Welcome to Wealthy Wisdom channel. In this video, we will talk about what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. If you are new to this channel, do like and subscribe to the channel. In today's world, it's more important than ever for children to learn about money. With the rise of credit cards and online shopping, it's easy for children to get into debt without realizing it. That's why it's essential to teach them about money early. Money management is a vital skill they'll need in adulthood, and the sooner they learn it, the better. In this video, I will talk about an issue that affects us all money. Specifically, I want to share what the rich teach their kids about money that the poor and middle class do not. So if you're interested in learning how to get ahead financially, stick around because this video is for you. The first thing that the rich people teach their kids that the poor and middle class do not is that money does grow on trees. One of the most critical lessons rich people teach their kid is that money grows on trees. And it's called assets. Assets are anything that has the potential to generate income, such as property, stocks, or businesses. While poor and middle class parents often teach their children that money is tight and needs to be saved, wealthy parents instill in their kids the importance of investing in assets. By teaching their children to invest in assets, affluent parents set them up for financial success. They will have a passive income stream that can support them in their older years, but they'll also have the opportunity to build even more wealth by reinvesting their earnings. The saying goes, the richest people in their own world's assets, not liabilities. By teaching their kids this lesson early on, wealthy parents give them a leg up in the race to financial freedom. The second is to let money work for you. It is no secret that the rich get richer while the poor get poorer. One of the critical reasons for this is that the rich know how to let money work for them, while the poor and middle class work for money. The rich understand that there is a big difference between assets and liabilities, and they make sure to invest their money in assets that will generate passive income. They also understand the power of compound interest and take advantage of it by investing early and often. By contrast, the poor and middle class tend to spend their money on liabilities like cars and houses that depreciate over time. As a result, they are constantly working hard to keep up with their bills, with little hope ever getting ahead. The lesson here is clear. If you want to build wealth, you need to learn how to let money work for you. Only then will you be able to enjoy financial freedom. Third, they teach them to be acquainted with similar financial statuses. While it is widely understood that wealthy individuals have greater access to resources and opportunities, there is another crucial difference between the rich and the poor: mindset. One of the most important lessons that wealthy parents teach their children is the importance of networking with people of similar financial status. By surrounding themselves with like-minded individuals, the rich can share ideas, create opportunities, and most importantly, avoid negative attitudes and behaviors in lower socioeconomic groups. While the middle class may view networking as self-serving or elitist, the reality is that it is essential for anyone who wants to be successful in business. By understanding and utilizing the power of networking, the rich can maintain their position at the top of the socioeconomic ladder. Next, they teach their kids how to manage their allowance wisely. We all know that the rich are different from the rest of us. They have more money, more resources, and more opportunities. But the one thing they also have is a different perspective on life, and that includes how they view money. Early on, the rich teach their children that money is something to be respected and managed wisely. They learn to save and invest rather than spend indiscriminately. And as they grow older, they continue to receive financial education that helps them make sound decisions with their money. Meanwhile, the vast majority of kids in America receive no such training. Many never even learn the basic principles of personal finance. As a result, they often find themselves in debt and struggling to make ends meet. It's time for us to take a cue from the rich and start teaching our kids about money. It is an essential life skill that will serve them well into adulthood. It's an essential life skill that will serve them well into adulthood. Who knows? Maybe someday they'll even be able to teach us a thing or two about financial success. Fourth, they discuss entrepreneurship at an early age. Entrepreneurship is widely discussed among wealthy families while hardly ever mentioned in lower and middle class families. Why is this case? One reason may be that the rich are more likely to have personal experience with entrepreneurship either through running their business or investing in them. As a result, they are more likely to see it as a viable career option for their children. In contrast, the poor and middle class are more likely to view entrepreneurship as a risky proposition, only suitable for those with a considerable amount of resources. As a result, they are less likely to encourage their children to pursue it. This difference in perspective can significantly impact a child's prospects, as those exposed to the idea of entrepreneurship at an early age are more likely to consider it as a viable option when they reach adulthood. The lesson that the rich people teach their kids that the poor and middle class did not is that they discuss entrepreneurship at an early age. This gives them a significant advantage in terms of future opportunities. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you like this video. Fifth, rich people teach their kids not to be afraid of taking risks. Taking risks is an essential part of success, yet many people are afraid to take them. This fear can often be tracked back to early childhood experiences. For example, a child who is never allowed to explore or play freely is likely to develop a fear of taking risks. On the other hand, a child encouraged to take risks and experiment is more likely to develop a willingness to take risks. The difference can often be seen in how children from different socioeconomic backgrounds approach new challenges. Children from wealthy families are often encouraged to take risks, while children from poverty-stricken families are often taught to be cautious. As a result, the rich children are more likely to take risks and succeed, while the children of the poor are more likely to play it safe and stay stuck in their current situations. The lesson that rich people teach their kids is not to be afraid of taking risks. It's a lesson that the poor and middle class did not learn. It's a lesson that could very well determine their future success. Lastly, the rich teach their kids about money by setting an example. The wealthy parents usually have high status jobs and can provide their children with everything they need in life. They can also afford to send their kids to private schools and universities. As a result, their kids grow up with a sense of entitlement and think that they are better than others. On the other hand, the poor and middle class often struggle to make ends meet. They cannot afford to send their kids to private schools or universities. As a result, their kids grow up with a sense of humility and think they have to work hard to get ahead in life. The lesson that the rich people teach their kids that the poor and middle class did not is by setting an example. They show their kids that anything is possible if you have the right attitude and work hard enough. These lessons imply that if you want to teach your children about money, it's best to learn from those who have more of it. Thank you for watching. I hope you have learned something from this video. If you like this video, do give us a like, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. Thank you and goodbye.